Well, let's see here. How long is it? Oh. Well, welcome back everyone for my first video in, well, almost 4 years, and what a chaotic bit of time it has been since the history of the Atlanta Braves at the very, very tail end of 2019. A lot has changed since then, and to my pleasant surprise, people still watch my History of the Atlanta Braves video, and I would like to start with a real nice thank you to all who have watched it. I honestly never expected to get even really 1,000 views out of it, much less 5,000 views by this point in time. A lot of people have commented on it, and a lot of people have even commented kind of recently on it. And so I've kind of decided that, well, since the Braves won the World Series in 2021, and with so many requests for an update as a result, it's finally time. So to those of you that have asked, this is that update. The 2020 to 2022 Addendum to the history of the Atlanta Braves. So without further ado, let's talk about the Braves' history since 2020 up to pretty much this point in time. 2020 was a peculiar year for the world in general, with baseball unable to escape the realities of the COVID-19 pandemic and its effects on pretty much everything. The 2020 season began with a 2-week delay, and then ultimately the cancellation of spring training due to the outright confusion surrounding the rapidly changing COVID situation. The season was then postponed indefinitely on March 16th of 2020, with a long drawn-out confrontation between the league and the MLB Players Association on how to react a restart. After much fighting, it was announced that there would be baseball in 2020 on June 23rd, with the 24th of July as the date of opening day. The season was to be 60 games long, with the designated hitter rule finally expanding to the National League, a runner on second base to start extra innings, and 7-inning doubleheaders in order to ensure shorter games in the interest of player safety. As for the Braves, their 2020 season ultimately proved to be a fruitful one, ending the regular season with a 35-25 record and the top spot in the National League East. In the postseason, the Braves took part in the first ever wild card series as a part of the expanded playoffs enacted in the offseason. The new format added 3 new wildcard spots, expanding the playoff field to 8 teams per league, with the higher seed hosting all 3 potential games in the series. As such, the number 2 seed Braves hosted the number 7 seeded Cincinnati Reds, securing a 2-game sweep to move on to the NLDS and their first postseason series win since 2001. Pretty long time. Due to the COVID pandemic, the remaining series from the division series onward were hosted in bubbles. The American League side of the playoffs played it in California, taking place at Petco Park in San Diego and Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles. The National League side of the playoffs and the World Series were played in Texas, with Minute Maid Park in Houston and the brand new Globe Life Field in Arlington as the sites. The Braves faced off against the upstart Miami Marlins, their division rivals, at Minute Maid Park, and they handled their business, picking up a nice 3-game sweep to move on to the National League Championship Series against the much-hated LA Dodgers. Series took place at Globe Life Field, and unfortunately for the Braves, it proved to be a painful one, as they went up 3-1 in the series, but ended up blowing the series lead, with the Dodgers moving on to the World Series and eventually taking down the Tampa Bay Rays to win their first championship in many years. While the season ended in heartbreak, the Braves did have some consolation prizes, with Freddie Freeman winning the National League MVP, Silver Slugger at first base, and the Hank Aaron Award. Alongside him, Travis d'Arnaud won the Silver Slugger at catcher, Ronald Acuna Jr. won one of the Silver Sluggers in the outfield, and Marcell Ozuna won the first ever National League Silver Slugger Award at designated hitter, alongside the Edgar Martinez Outstanding DH Award. Max Fried also showed off some incredibly good defense over the season, earning himself the National League Gold Glove at pitcher. In 2021, the Braves tooled up for a mostly standard MLB campaign, with the 162-game season making its return and the playoffs reverting back to their pre-2020 format. In 2021, the Braves powered through a tough season filled with the likes of Marcell Ozuna's off-the-field incident that led to him being placed out from September 9th onward. The team finished a solid 88-73, taking first place in the NL East from the New York Mets in August to complete a pretty woeful season from the squad from Queens, who had held the lead from early in the season to that point. In the postseason, the Braves entered as the number 3 seed, taking down a solid Milwaukee Brewers squad in 4 games in the NLDS to move on to the championship series. Once again, they faced off against the Dodgers, who despite winning 106 games that year, were the number 4 seed as the 107-55 San Francisco Giants stunned the Dodgers and pretty much everyone to win the National League West, only to fall to them in a thrilling 5-game NLDS. This time out, the Braves handled their business, taking down the Dodgers in 6 games to move on to their first World Series since 1999. Their opponent in the Fall Classic was the also hated 95-67 Houston Astros, a squad despised since their 2017 cheating scandal. The series proved to be a thriller as the teams went to 6 games, with the Braves ultimately coming out on top to win their first World Series since 1995 and their second championship in Atlanta.
Left side, Swanson to first. The Braves are world champions!
The notable awards from the season were Max Fried winning the National League Gold Glove and Silver Slugger at pitcher, so back-to-back Gold Gloves for Max Fried. Freddie Freeman winning the Silver Slugger at first base again. Ozzie Albies winning the Silver Slugger at second base. Austin Riley earning himself a Silver Slugger at third base. Eddie Rosario for his efforts winning the National League Championship Series MVP. And Jorge Soler, who absolutely dominated in the World Series, picking up the World Series MVP. Before the 2022 season could even begin, Major League Baseball struck again as the collective bargaining agreement was set to be renegotiated. Rob Manfred and the league locked out the players on December 2nd of 2021, forcing another long and drawn-out conflict between the owners and the players that was resolved on the 10th of March, delaying opening day until April 7th. As part of the negotiations, the playoffs were expanded to 6 teams per league, reviving the wildcard series with the bottom 4 seeds having to play with the top 2 having a bye until the division series. Alongside that, the universal DH was here to stay, as well as the extra base runner and extra innings during regular season games. Advertisements also arrived, as now teams were able to put advertisements on the helmet and the sleeves of their uniforms the first time ever in Major League Baseball history. To say the least, expectations were high for the reigning World Series champions. Despite starting slow, the Braves would storm back from 10.5 games behind the Mets, sweeping them at home to end the season atop the National League East with a 101-67 record, their first 100-plus win season since 2003. Even though they entered the postseason as the number 2 seed in the National League, the Braves would watch their season crumble as they fell to their division rivals, the red-hot 87-75 number 6 seed Philadelphia Phillies, in 4 games. The Phillies would go on to ride that hot streak all the way to a World Series appearance. While the way their season ended was in heartbreak, there remains reason to be hopeful as Braves fans, as the squad hauled in a fair amount of awards. Michael Harris II powered his way to the National League Rookie of the Year award, Dansby Swanson earned himself the Gold Glove at shortstop, and then Max Fried earned himself his 3rd straight Gold Glove on the mound. Very impressive haul indeed. At the point of writing this script and recording during the 2023 All-Star break, the Braves currently sit at 60-29, 8.5 games up on the second place Marlins in the National League East. At this rate, the Braves will easily win the NL East, and we'll have to wait and see what the postseason will have in store. Regardless, just as I said in the last video, the Braves and their fans should have a lot of hope for the future and potentially more postseason success, considering they're in the middle of their competitive window. I will also say, congratulations on the 2021 title, Atlanta. With that, we are now caught up with the history of the Atlanta Braves once again. Going forward, I hope to find some consistency and the energy to make videos faster than once every 3 years. Adulting is hard, and there have been multiple projects that have found their way into limbo one way or another, and I hope to get them out soon enough. Stay tuned, as the current roadmap has the Baltimore Orioles as the subject of the next video, with either the Boston Red Sox or something else to follow. Either way, I'd like to thank you for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one.